Check 1, 2. Check. So, I don't know if you ever do those in life. Like a check. You know, if you think about it, we take cars in, we take our bodies in, maybe to the chiropractor, physical therapist, primary care physician, massage therapist. We may go to a spa, something like that, right? Or hiking, maybe that's your thing. Whatever kind of cleans your mind up, so to speak. And I think he gives us something, right? Each of us has something. We know what it is. And when's the last time that you felt that kind of peace? That kind of love with it? And the first episode we talked about coming out of the dark. And I shared with you my sort of spiritual journey of either side. Dark and light, and probably 10 to 20% of those stories. I just hit the highlights and I got to move on. As he told me to find the best, fastest people I know and go. I don't know what that means completely. But as I've said, I've already talked to several people, and it's been the most amazing, transformational, conversational journey that I just don't know what to even compare it to. When I was in Cairo school, it was pretty competitive there and very stressful. The year I was there, they said it was the top 3 most stressful colleges in the United States. It was like MIT, Johns Hopkins, and Palmer College of Chiropractic in Iowa. So if you think about it, I was like, well, if it's all about stress, I was in a mental, physical, spiritual vice up there, right? For 4 years, however long it takes you to get through the program. It's just like any other year program, dental, chiropractic, medical school, law school, whatever, 4-year program, they break it down, whatever. So you think, well, if it's about stress, so I didn't see a whole lot there. Only one thing. Actually, 2 things. See, I was in the world then, but I was trying to figure it out. So I went and found this little church and kind of grew up in it, as I said. And loved to sing, but hadn't picked up music yet. But just loved to sing. My whole family actually sings. I sing a little bit around and did a little album, 2010 or maybe 12. I can't remember. It's actually on Apple Music now, but anyways. Still out there. Spotify, I think, maybe. This is when I was in the world. So it's kind of interesting. That was also my introduction into music. And thing was kind of through church. I kind of came that way from it. It was one of my most awesome memories as a child. I was sick a lot. And my mom she had the most beautiful voice. I just thought she had the voice of an angel. And I lay at her feet, and I was sick a lot. I had tonsillitis a lot, so they kept pumping me full of antibiotics, because that really helps. When you have tonsillitis, that's facetious. It doesn't help at all. So they decided to take the tonsils out, you see, because that's what you do. You just take stuff out, the human body, don't you? You know how ridiculous that sounds? Pop the hood of your Lexus up. Pop the hood of your Tesla up. Pop the hood of your old 1984 red Ford pickup. Pop the hood of it up and take something out of it. See how well it works. And you're going to compare a machine to the human body. It's best not to mess with it. Now, do we need that intervention? Of course. Is there times when it's the most important thing in the world to get an intervention? Yes. By and large, no. You have everything in you. That is not medical advice. Stick to your own chiropractor or primary care physician, whoever you see. Anyway. So I was in church and kind of trying to figure it out. I was also head security manager, a bouncer in a bar. And talk about duality. I was trying to be both places, both guys. So I go in and sing at church and was signing up for volunteer youth minister stuff. Because I really enjoyed that. But then by the evening times, I was doing whatever I was doing, like everybody else. There's virtually no difference in me and any other college person you would run into. Zero difference between me and them. I might have smiled a little more and my skin was clearer. I didn't take the drugs and, I didn't really drink a whole lot. I was just in there around it, right? I had to work, I had to be there. I remember where I was the first time I walked into a bar on a Sunday. I had to work on a Sunday. And I remember I had my head down and some of my buddies were like, "What's wrong with you? What's the matter?" I'm like, "Boys, where I'm from, you don't go to bars on Sundays. As a matter of fact, where I'm from, boys, you don't go to them at all. Oh, the losers of the losers live here, man. We don't hang out in these places." I mean, really, that's the way I was raised. Like, right? You just didn't go. You didn't even go in them. And now there's one on every corner. And I'm not, hey, man, I love, hey, zero judgment. I'm just saying, think about it. That's everywhere. And you all know the places, don't you? There's a place in town for you can get picked up, right? There's a place in town you really want to get drunk. They give you big pours. And there's classier places you can go to, and their food's just a little fancier. But they sell the spirits, right? I'm not down on alcohol. Don't get me wrong. Just understand. The shiny things happen, right? Right before you get scooped up. You ever see those like creatures in the ocean? They have the little white pearl thing on the front. You know what it is? It's like a little thing, and other animals think it's something and gobbles them up. That's what the dark's like too. It'll lure you right in with something real shiny. Don't believe me? When's the last time you saw someone? Wasn't your husband, wasn't your wife, right? Flirt with you just a teeny tiny bit. No big deal. Is it? Is it? Meh. Pastor says it all starts in your mind. That's what you got to control first. Interesting. So I'm in the world, I'm in church, I'm singing in choir, but the real reason I was singing in choir is this little dark-haired girl. She was cute, she was sweet. She had something in her, I could see it. It was white, though. Kind of like smoky white. And I could see it. I didn't know what it was. It was very sweet and kind and gentle and this and that. I could see it in her. And I really liked her. Anyway, she'd been married and divorced and was older than me, much older. I didn't know that at the time. We became friends. Man, she just was so cool. I don't know what it's about her. She's 10, 15 years older than me. Had kids and everything. Like, we weren't like that. You know what I mean? And then I saw this gentleman, a pastor. And I saw something in him too. Only what I saw in him wasn't the same color as what I saw in her. It was a different color. And I didn't know about the colors then. I didn't know about the things in people's eyes look different. Anyway, that's another story. And there'll be a couple other people come along here after me. I'm just setting the groundwork for these top 3 episodes. And then it just gives you the roadmap. And then from there, you can decide you want to keep on going. And I was telling a couple people today, I was like, you got to be careful about these things, because if you're not careful, you're going to be responsible for the information within. And then you may have to do something with that information. That was told to me 30, 40 years ago, and I didn't believe that. I was like, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything to me. What are you talking about? Well, what it means is when you grab that information, you're now responsible for it. Know what I mean? Anyway, so I saw something in this guy, this pastor. And he was slick, man. He talked well. He looked the part. He was good. But I saw something else in him. And I quickly realized that the people around me could not see it. Congregation couldn't see it. Elders couldn't see it. People in the choir couldn't see it, but I could see it. I knew what it was. Well, I didn't. But I was in the world, see, and what I could identify in someone more than anything was that. I could identify the dark like nobody's business. If you were a girl, and you were a little loose in the moral obligation category, yeah, I'd find you. When I was in college and stuff, you know what I mean? That's what those places are for, guys. Stay out of there. Anyway, be careful, right? It's a slippery slope. That's the point. You say never go to a bar, don't go to the liquor store. No. You say never have a glass of wine, Jesus drank wine. I'm not saying that, man. Follow your own conviction. Don't listen to me. It's just my voice. It's your story. You got to tell your story. I'm telling mine. Right? That's just the way I see it. It's just a slippery slope. And I would warn anyone, my own children, I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. And so I saw it in this guy, and I also realized that I could see other colors in other people. And so you say, what are you talking about, man? I'll talk to you about it. It doesn't matter. You ever felt that in somebody? You see something, I don't like this guy. I don't know, slimy. There's something, right? You know what I'm talking about, people. Come on. You got it too. Everybody does. So this guy, pastor, I saw it in him. And what I realized is other things around him could see it too. And somebody maybe with another type of spirit like that. And they'd be buddy-buddy. And then I see too little. Right? It's like, yeah, okay. So they asked me to run this program. They said, hey, we'd like you to do this. I said, well, I'm a chiropractic college. I'm super busy. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have to do this, but I was going to try. Well, pressure from him. And I'll never forget, it was Super Bowl Sunday, and a guy was like, hey, I want you to head up this men's thing in Super Bowl Sunday. I'm like, it's Super Bowl Sunday, man. I don't think anybody's going to. He said, well, we're going to have them choose what's more important to them. Super Bowl Sunday here at the church or at home drinking beer or whatever it is they're going to do at home. We kind of called him out, you know. You were good if you went to the Super Bowl thing, but you were bad if you stayed at the house. Interesting. From a man that's 50% dark. Boy, I thought that was really interesting because the dark knows how to do one thing. Spread dark. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then nothing from that. I sort of migrated away. A few months later, I saw him in the bar I was working in. Same bar. That thing in him was bigger now. And he was doing shots. A few months later, I'd heard he left the church. A few months later, I heard he left his wife. Yeah. Interesting. It's interesting what some people will put on you if you let them. And I thought, didn't seem right, you know. And what's funny about that is, brings us around the clergy. And I recorded this message, and he told me really few as edits as possible, and what he really wanted was these to be recorded live. He said, I don't want a bunch of edits. And this is what it's going to look like, talk like, smell like, taste like. This is what it's going to be. I'll tell you exactly how to do it and who to talk to, what it should look like, if you want to do it. It's just a voice. Okay. I can do that. I'll get it. I'll try to get it as right as I can. If that's what you want me to do, I'll do it. So I set off on these. And you know, it's the third time I've recorded this about clergy. You know why? Because I don't want to talk about clergy. I'm not qualified. And every single time I've hit this microphone and hit record, I end up right here at clergy. And why do you think that is, clergy? He's talking to you. Why did he call me what he called me? I don't know yet. Well, actually, I do. But I've got a lot of episodes to get everybody else caught up because this is a few years in the making now. And this is only episode 2. So, training wheels are on. Back to my story. And let's face it, sometimes you get some bad advice in life. Well, going into the light is no different. So you're going to meet people, clergy, Christians, all kinds of people that call themselves all kinds of things. And what you're going to realize is the vast majority of them don't even know what they're talking about. Just be careful about that. When you're coming into the light, don't stumble over other Christians and clergy as you're on your way in. Sometimes they're the first ones to keep you out. Sometimes. Because you see the dark's everywhere. It's even in them too. You know what I mean? Now that I'm able to communicate with them, I'm even harder on clergy than I was. I recorded this message 3 times. And I didn't do that in the first episode. And you know why? Because he wants me to talk about clergy. He wants me to talk about the people who are supposedly his people, leading his other people. Yikes. I am not qualified to do that. Am I? Or are we? All of us should hold our rabbis, shouldn't we? Our priests, our clergy, our pastors. Even if you're an evangelist, is that what they call them? I just learned that the other day. I didn't see, this is new to me. They told me that an evangelist is somebody that travels around, doesn't have a home church. He just literally travels around, lives his life of God, revival to revival, healing to healing. I think, wow, that's awesome. I don't know how to do that. My people, they come to me and I try to help them, in what I do. And it's a blessing. Oh my goodness, it's a blessing to be in healthcare. I've seen some of the most awesome things. God's hand's in that too, but we'll talk about that another time. Back to the story. Keep in mind, the only thing the dark's really good at is spreading the dark, right? So if there's dark in these people, you're trying to come into a lightful situation, and sometimes they just guard that. It would make sense, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it make more sense if the people trying to get, guarding, essentially, the gates of light? What do they say? Fox guarding the hen house. Be careful. I mean, the dark's not that complicated, compared to the light. The dark's just not that complicated. It isn't. I mean, the dark's easy. It is. The dark is easy. You want to rule in the dark? Here's how you do it. Take everything for yourself. Take every advantage that you can. Don't worry about anybody else. Don't give anything away. Keep it all to yourself. Never admit a mistake. Never say you're sorry. You're on your way. You want to cheat on your husband or your wife? You're well on your way. You want to go and lie about stuff? You want to go, trust me, man. The Sultan of Sin, I'm talking. I know the dark well. He told me that, actually. That was not a compliment. You see, not a compliment. Anyway. So, Under the Deck, if you haven't listened to episode 1, do it, as it won't make much sense. But this is the second of a 3-part series. And it's concentrating on the light, on what I heard from that point forward, from my sort of death and out of the dark walk in episode 1. Episode 2 is walking into the light. So there's a little bit of gray, isn't there? And what I started to realize as I was coming through this journey, as I was starting to come through this and I started seeing other people, I realized I'm not the only one in the dark, am I? We're born into it. All of us, if you think about it. It's not sin-free down here. It's not perfect. I mean, you think about it. Hold on a second. You used to go back somewhere in philosophy and theology, they taught me the safety pin cycle. Basically, it's kind of like, there's a spirit in heaven, right? And it comes down to the earth, and then from here it goes back to heaven. I don't know, you're born, baby soul, come down, you go back up. I don't know how it works, not my area. I've never really even asked. But it didn't really make a lot of sense to me, if you think about it. You got a perfect, pure soul, and then it comes down here, and then its job is to somehow make it back to where it came from? I don't know. I don't know how that works. Is it because of the fall of man that we now have to crawl out of this place? Because if you think about a pure soul being born here, we don't have a chance. Like in episode 1, I was 4 years old when I had some of those memories, and I was 7 when I talked. If I was pure when I was born, or maybe I wasn't, I don't know. It's not my area. But you know what I'm seeing? It has me thinking about that. And you're born into this system, and you don't even really understand it, and there's some pain, and there's some happiness, and there's pain, and there's happiness, and some of us, it's random, and there's more pain than there's happiness, there's more happiness than pain, and then some of us, if we've never experienced a certain level of pain, and then all of a sudden we do for the first time in our lives, we don't often know how to take care of that, do we? It's confusing to us. And it's something to do with that pain, isn't there? It has something to do with the process sometimes. Don't know how, but that son or daughter that you already had or maybe lost. That wife or husband that you had and lost and loved them. Or whatever it is. That's pain, man. And you can't protect people from that. Not here. And the best that you can do in a situation like that, right, is just like understand that everything you see and everyone you know is going away. With just a few ticks of a clock, you see, it's gone. In the Bible, it talks about building sand castles or building castles in sand and things, right? I don't know the Bible super well. I've read it, like I said, in one, but I think it's in Matthew. He says something about a foolish man building castles in sand that'll go away when the storms come. Huh. You don't say. But I understand that part. And I really understand it now. And I have been an absolute, was ruled by this world. And the quicker you can get out of that and move closer to him. And what I found was, as I said, he just makes everything better. And the closer I got to him, the better everything got. So it started out as a word under the deck. When I flipped the pump over, you had to listen to the story. I was learning to hear his voice. He said, this is the only way I get your attention. Well, a few months later, maybe 4 months, I'm in the hot tub. There's something about me and storms, I guess. I don't know. I was praying. I was trying to get more regal about this thing. It's like, all right, if I'm praying, I feel like I need to like get a little more official. You know what I mean? Like I'm just praying, laying on my back, just like, walking or whatever. Hey God, how we doing? Hey God, conversationally, which is good, right? I mean, that's coming later. But anyway, so right now I'm just by myself, no outside influences in the Christian world. Really, hadn't really reached out to anybody. Just kind of been dealing with it on my own, figuring it out on myself. And I was just like, I don't want a bunch of yapping in my ears. And I also just figured like, well, anybody that I knew or whatever, or any preachers, I've already been through all that in youth ministry and was in the choir in 2, 3, 4 different places and just all around. I already did all that. Really didn't have any interest in going back to church, quite honestly. And I just saw the same sin I saw everywhere else. And that's just what I saw wherever I went. And to me, I just didn't stay at the house and see sin here. There's less. Here's fewer people. That's just truthfully how I felt about it. And I didn't understand. Again, this is the gray, right? Now we say dark. I should have had an episode that was called gray, and then we'd have one in the light. But so I was out there, and something about him and storms, like I said, and it's, and I just love, there's something about it. There's something amazing about it. A storm and the rain for me, especially if I'm in water and it's water all around me and it's storming and it's dark. I don't know. There's just something about it. I can pray, man. And it's something you may want to try. I'll talk about meditation later, but if you want to try praying, 528 hertz, give it a shot. A friend of mine, JP, said something about it. And, I was like, yeah, I forgot about those frequencies, man. We learned about those. So I started listening to 528 hertz, and all of a sudden the tears run down my face, and I could just talk to him like way faster. I was like, wow. I felt something. I couldn't hear anything yet, but I could talk. I felt like what I was saying was being heard. Like for maybe the first time, what I was saying, I could tell it was being heard because I'd see some little bitty thing later in the day. And you say, well, you set your expectation in the morning, Dr. Williams. And so you looked for that observational, cue later in the day. Okay, fine, great. It's like when you buy a Volkswagen, you see a Volkswagen. All right, you see a motorcycle, you see a motorcycle. I get it. Okay, fine. I'll give you that one, science. So I'm listening to 528 frequency, and then I took them out and just listened to the storms. And I realized that there were some noises that I could hear in the water and in the wind and in the storm and in the air and and it was that same frequency I just had in my ear. You know what I mean? So I put the AirPods back into my ear and I put them on what they call pass-through mode or something. I don't know how this works, right? But so what it does is it like it plays the music in your ear, but it also lets in the outside noise, so that stuff you can hear in like the world. And I started hearing that frequency in the world. And it helped me talk to him somehow. I don't know if it's just peaceful or yapping or it had something to do with the frequency. I don't know. But you tell me to eat like lima beans, you tell me to eat like whatever I got to do to talk to him, I'm in. What do you need me to climb? What do you need me to read? What do you need me to do? I'm in, you know? And so I was like, all right, so frequencies are out. I'm hearing the frequencies through. So I put the AirPods back in and put them on. I was like, wait a minute. I can hear that. And I started turning it down, the volume in my ear, so that the volume outside matched it, mixed it, as we would say in video or audio production. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. What frequency? 528 hertz. What's that closest to? I think it's an A. What is that? Or is it a C? I've heard that note before. And I was like, wait, what's all about that? Huh. And anyway, I got fascinated by that for a while. Well, fast forward a few more times, another storm, similar situation, no AirPods this time. And I'm working on this regal thing, working on this like, hey man, I want to look like what I'm supposed to look like. I want to behave the way I'm supposed to behave. I want to be who I think I've always been, but who I think I never was. I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy he made. What would that guy do? And I got down on a knee, man, and I did my best, like head down and like, semblance of a pose, as though I was being knighted. King Arthur himself could have came up and said, boom, boom. That's the position I was in. Head down. And I was upset because I had a chance to sell and get out of here. I wanted to go on, do something else. Then it would have required a lot for me to leave the area. Selling of a practice, selling of several buildings on Main Street during a construction project. It's had its own issues. And I'm like, man, this is perfect for me. Hit out of here, hit a beach somewhere, man, whatever. I'll sell all this stuff and get out of here. Deuces. It's still walking in the light, but like, I think I can let all this go. I'm ready. Just completely new adventure, right? And he said, all of a sudden, I felt him. And I never felt exactly like this before. Even under the deck when I felt him, but I probably wasn't paying attention because he's so dumb. Well, I've got to tell you about the other times that I've seen him, but not the point of it. But I'm going to do the best I can because he wants me to. Here it goes. So I felt him and it went like down my neck, back, both arms, kind of full body. So you got shakes, or not shakes, it's like, it's hard to explain. It's a vibration or something. I don't know what happens. But all your hair stands up all over you. Sometimes you get numb in your mouth or something. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Your hands feel different. I don't know. And then you just hear things. I know. And it's not all the time. And I'll tell you something else. If you're in the you're crazy category, I'll tell you why it's not later. But how I would describe him to you is this. He is the most awesome, amazing, powerful, thing, entity, awe-inspiring, powerful, just so fierce, and yet somehow is gentle as a butterfly, man. I do not know how he does it, but that's how he makes me feel. You feel like he could just go done if he wanted to. There is no mistaking his power. You do not. And I will tell you this. He is not playing. He is very, 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 very real. And he is very, very serious. So, anyway, that's how I would describe him. The most powerful, fearful, forceful, gentle, loving, kind, sweet. I don't know. And that's how I would describe him to you. So, I'm on a knee. I'm being ready to be knighted. I'd heard his voice under the deck, and now I feel him coming on me. And I was praying about these concerns about who I should pick to sell all my stuff, different companies, of some maybe an auction, or hey, let's sell these outright. And he said, stay. And I said, wait a minute, man. Don't just fly in here and say a couple words and take off. What are you talking about? I'm doing everything you said to do. Now, I talk to him this way because I got nothing to lose. You know? Where I came from, I'm like, you got to be kidding. No. You don't get to say 1-2 words, man, and just bail? So I said to him, I said, hey, please don't, I'm being facetious in a way, but I'm also being serious. That's how I talk to him, because when someone says to me, speak to him like he's your real dad, that's what I would really say. Hey, man, this doesn't seem right to me right here. Did you see what that person just did to that other person? And I can't do anything about it. That isn't right. That's an injustice and it needs to be fixed, so let's get on with it. Either you fix her, let me fix her, let me call someone to fix it, because I'm tired of seeing my people running around down here being taken advantage of by the dark and the terrible things that lurk in the dark. And I want to do something about it. I'm tired of looking at it. I'm tired of seeing people. I'm tired of advising them and telling them things to do and they die anyway. That's what I'm tired of. He said, me too. He said, stay. Again. And I said, man, what in the world do you want me to do? This is too much. I am not Job. I am not some person in the Bible, man. I'm just a regular dude. This is too much. What are you even talking about? Like, what difference does it make? Like, why? I do not understand. Because that's how I would talk to my dad. I would say, Dad, what the hell, man? Come on, you, this is not fair. You ask too much of me. And he said, you stay, you make it better. You finish strong. You be an example. And you live in a daily state of thankfulness and forgiveness. He said, you go your way. This is what I want you to do if you want to do it. And if you don't, you go your way in peace. And along the way, if you can teach someone, if you can help someone, you help them. You are not higher than them. They are not higher than you. If it's figure of speech. But he said, if you are walking this way and you can help them, try to help them. If they will accept your help, help them. If they will not, you wish them well and leave them where you found them. And he said, some of them, tell them it's their last chance, because it is. And I was mad. Instead of being glad that God was talking to me, at least I got a sentence out of him this time, right? Or a couple sentences. I was kind of mad at the assignment. And I was grumpy about it. I did it, though. I did exactly what he told me to do, as good as I could do it. Because, you see, I tried it my way. And I was like, what I got to lose? So I decided to do that. And it's like these podcasts, he said, you stand up there and you say, this is what I want you to say. This is how I want you to do it. This is what it sounds like, looks like, smells like, tastes like. This is what it's going to be like. And I said, okay. And that was it. I didn't hear anything else for several months. And I was in a room one time, not long after that experience. And I was with the patient, a wonderful, wonderful person. And we were talking about God, and I keep that out of there a lot. But now, if you're a Christian person and someone says something to me in a room, I'm a Christian person too. I am now. I did not like that title because I did not like the example that I saw around me of people that called themselves that. I don't want to be one of those. Maybe I can call myself something else. See, I didn't like the name that it had become. I didn't like the name that some people associated with it. Now, was that really true, or was it because I was in the dark and that's what I thought they were, right? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both. And I think that comes down from the top. I feel that in my spirit. So anyway, I was with this gentleman and we were talking about God. That's my favorite thing to do now. My pastor and I sit some days for an hour, 2 more even, and just talk about him. And we just share stories about how he makes us feel. And he has a handkerchief in his hand. He's 79 years old. He is a wonderful, wonderful person. He's got a pureness in him that I have not only seen one other time, and that was where I was. He's the closest thing to white that I had seen. And I walked right up to him blind, didn't know who he was, but I could see his color. It was apparently something that happened. And that's how I found my pastor. Anyway, gentleman in the room. So we're back in the room and he says, talking about God. I said, yeah. He said, does he talk back to you? And I said, no, not really. He goes, he doesn't. I said, no, not generally. And he said, well, how many hours a day do you pray? And squeak, the table went down. If you've ever been to the chiropractor, some of them stand up, right? You walk up to the table and you get on it and it lowers you like face down, right? So it was timed perfectly. And that's the other thing I noticed about these little side missions or jobs, whatever you want to call them when this happens, is that when you're with him, everything just flows. It's hard to explain. You go to the place he told you to go to, there's a parking spot. You get out, it's full, but yet somehow you get a perfect table at exactly where you want because the person you're supposed to be there is to talk to is there. And you just know it. And unbelievable. So this person says, as he's lowering himself down, almost timing perfect, he gets on the table, and right before the table goes to drop, he turns to me. I'm not even sure he's a real person now. I wonder if that actually even happened. Was it an angel? Was it, I don't know. It was so bizarre. And he turned to me and he looked and he said, with the look on his face I had seen before, but I hadn't familiarized myself with it yet. There was something in his eyes that I could see in him. Something else. But I hadn't figured that out yet. I didn't know about all the different colors. I didn't know about all... Anyway, but I saw something in him. And I felt it, too. It was a message. See, I was getting a message from a person on earth. From him. Because I couldn't hear him yet. Not like that guy could. You see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. There's nothing special about me. Even my own pastor said that. We were at church one time and standing up there and I said something. We were praying for people, you know, how you do sometimes. Sometimes you go, I don't generally go for prayers, but I do once in a while, but I always go to pray for people. I didn't used to do any of that. I thought that was kind of whatever. Just get me out of here, dude. I'm starving. Buffet hits it wherever it crack, you know, wherever we're going to eat. Let's get on the road. You know, if you took communion that day, that little cracker and that little shot of juice just didn't do much for you. You know, I was in the world, man. Flesh pretty hard then. Schedules, time, money, you know, whatever. We got stuff to do. I ain't got time for all this religion stuff. I'm building castles in sand, bro. Don't bother me. I'm busy. I'm a busy man. Got to travel the world a few times. Sorry. Back to the guy in the room. So he says, how many hours a day do you pray? And I was like, what did he say? And it was timed perfectly. He turned his head and then turned it forward just in time, and he caught the table as I had already hit the button, so it was already moving down when he spoke. You know what I mean? It was like perfect. And I'm like, I've seen that perfection before. He's usually around. I didn't think anything about it. Didn't feel anything per se. But I know what that feels like. I'm like, I've seen this. So my radar was going off, and I was like, okay, I'm paying attention now. Now, you have my undivided attention, Holy Ghost. You have my undivided attention, Jehovah God. You have my undivided attention. And that is really hard to beat. You commit your undivided attention to Him. Look out. I'm telling you right now. As Pastor said at church, he's praying for people. Talking about obedience. He said, thank you for being obedient. We were praying for people, and I was telling him about this project I'm so passionate about. I was telling him about everything that had happened. And he wasn't shocked at all. He's 79 years old. He's a beautiful man, and he's seen it for 40 years, you see. And it was such a gift to be able to speak with someone like him. And he said, no, this is what's happening. And he described my events perfectly. And I started crying, and a couple of my friends were like, what's wrong with him? And he said, well, this is what's happening. And he narrated it for me. And I just felt like, man, I'm with the right people. And the words back in the room of this patient saying to me, how many hours a day do you pray? They were ringing in my ears. And I was pacing back and forth in the room. It's about 12 by 12. I don't know, 13 by 13 feet, whatever it is. And I was pacing back and forth. I'd walk this way. He was to my left. I'd walk this way. He was to my right. While this table's dropping, which can take 15, 20, 30 seconds. And I was like, did he say hours? What did he say? And I said to him, sir, if you don't mind me asking, did you say hours? He said, yeah. Whoa. And I was like, well, so about that, I do like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, we grab hands, we say our prayers, and we go on about our day. He said, yeah, I do that too, kind of like check-ins. Check-in, thankful for this. Check-in, thankful for that. Check-in, thankful for that. He goes, yeah, it's not really praying. It's kind of more like checking in. You know, check 1, 2. I'm like, okay, I can kind of get you. I'm picking up what you're laying down, brother. Let me go up and give this a shot. I mean, you've seen the ultimate bad guy. You've heard voices. You've heard God's voice. So why not? What do I gotta lose? I've never tried praying for even an hour a day. Have you? Why would you? Too busy. Got stuff to do. I never even crossed my mind. I'm serious. I mean, you couldn't get... I love church, man, sometimes, but sometimes I just couldn't get out of there fast enough. That's boring. Bored me to tears. So I started working on this. Like, really working on it. I was like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to take some of this educated brain, and I'm going to fire on the best possible way to do this from here on out. That's what I'm going to do. And so I started working on it. I started 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Every single day, though, just a little bit. And I hadn't had a church home yet. I hadn't figured out what I was going to do or if I was just going to keep it to myself. Because like I said, you know, honk, shoo, church, no chance. Boring, boring, boring. No spirit, no nothing, whatever, man. Just complete waste of time as far as I was concerned. You know? You don't have to go to church to talk to God, man. That's what I thought. But I didn't understand all the way. But I was intrigued by this, by what this person said to me. And by the other things I was starting to notice. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 5 minutes here. Some days I'd miss, because it's just life. You just forget. It's a new habit you're trying to form. So instead of getting convicted about it and feeling terrible about it, I decided to do something different about it. I'm like, I'm going to look at the positive things that I'm doing right. So I would pray 5 or 10 minutes a day. And it kind of snowballed from there. And I noticed small things at first. Like I said earlier, like some small thing would happen. And I'm like, I just prayed about that. Huh. Or I'd have a question in my mind and someone would say, hey, there's the answer. And then 3 hours later, I heard the answer again from someone else. And 3 hours after that, I heard it again from someone else. But I never spoke my question out loud. Only God knew that. So that's now either the greatest coincidence of all time, or there's something in this prayer stuff. But I was quite certain that there's nothing special about me. I just started spending more time with him, you see. And there's effects to that. It's not me. It's he, capital H-E. It's him. And he does that to you. See, people say you're not perfect. No, you're not. But you know what? Sometimes you are. I promise you. When you're in his presence, you are. And I see now why he doesn't stay. Because that's all he would do was just stay in his presence. It's also one of the last things my mom said. She got sad a couple times. She said she couldn't feel his presence. Because even at the end, he was working with her. That's a different story. So I was increasing my time with him and seeing like fruit fall off trees, man. Only I didn't have to reach for it. It was on the ground. All I had to do was bend over and pick it up. And sometimes he dropped it right in my hand. And I was like, this is unbelievable. And I kept it to myself. I never said a word to anybody because I'm a scientist. I'm a sports scientist, man. Like I study force and rates, and I design programs for high-end people, Olympians and whatnot, in the past. And I'm like, yeah, this is crazy. Man, they're not going to take me seriously. Gosh, I love my job, man. Anyway, so I'm learning more. Faster. Everything's moving. And one day, it was Easter, and I hadn't had a home yet because I hadn't found the pastor. That's also another story yet. Incredible, beautiful man. I can't wait for you to meet him. You're going to meet him in one of the episodes coming up. I'm super excited about it. And JP, you'll meet JP too, and you're going to meet some other ones, but I don't have permission to use their names yet because some people are still deciding. Some of the things that I've seen, some people want their stories told and some people do not. And some of them aren't here anymore. Some of them have already passed on. Because, well, it's another story. So Easter morning, I hadn't had a church home yet. And I was praying, and that was a beautiful morning. Easter morning, it was so beautiful, and I wanted to save it for the newbies. I thought, well, I'm not going on newbie day. I'm a newbie. I hadn't been to church. Looking for it. I'm getting out. I told you I was doing it by myself. I'm doing my own thing. Yeah, man. Solo. Lone wolf. McQuaid used to be an old show. There's something about that nomad. Most men, I think, have it. Sometimes I'm on that Indian motorcycle, man, and I can feel it in me. I just want to go so bad to the ends of the earth. Within that thing, man, there's something about God's round, beautiful, amazing country and his people that I love talking to now. And that's what I'm going to do. He's already told me that. He's going to let me go, do that. And then I'm going to talk to you guys. I'll come to you and I'll talk to you about it. You think I'm lying? I cannot, actually, now. Honest person you'll ever meet. No, I'm not, but he is. And it's instant conviction now. I can't even, if I'm not supposed to say something, I usually can't find the words. It's just him helping me deliver this message that I think is ridiculously important. And you're just a voice. So listen to this. I'm praying and I look down. It's been 30 minutes. But I don't remember, I didn't go to sleep. I said, what was that? I had my 528 hertz in each ear. I had it zoned down. I could hear the birds. Do you know that some birds hit the note C sharp, like on a piano? If you go high enough up, you can hear those pitches. And so I started mixing the volume down, as I said earlier. And what it would do is I could mix it perfectly. And I started noticing what noises made me feel like that. And see, now wherever I'm at on this earth, I know what that sounds like and I can hear it. And when I hear it, it somehow connects me to something or helps me. It's like you went from smoke signals to fiber optics, is how I would describe the communication now. It's instantaneous. It's in real time. I see things fly in my vision. I know how ridiculous it sounds. You said, buddy, you better get a brain scan. No, I'm with you. It's unbelievable. And it's a story I have to tell. And just like you have a story, and you have to tell yours. So what's yours? You know, that. Oh, I'd listen to that. You send me your story. I'd love to hear it. So, 2 hours goes by, 3 hours goes by, 4 hours goes by. People say, man, I hate people that brag about how much they pray. I don't know, man. I'm pretty proud about it. But I see why people say that. Pride's a sin or whatever. Maybe it ain't sin, it's a whatever. But I'm very proud of that. And some days it's 10, 12 hours, but it's not like you would think. It's not in the regal position, you see, in the knighthood and Camelot. I used to joke that I was born in the wrong time. I think a lot of men feel this way. They're like, I wish I was born when you could murder, death, kill, like instant justice. What'd you do? Whack. Pew. Off with their heads. You know what I mean? I feel like we'd steal less. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just that, okay, now I've gotten off. Now see how quick the dark can take you over? We're talking about God and regalness and multiples. Now we're talking about murder. It's true. It's an example in real time in front of you. You know what I mean? So, he said that to me. And then I prayed that 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, Easter morning praying, right? Beautiful A frequency. You with me? Jive and everything's perfect. And I felt something that I hadn't really felt before. And even though I'd felt all this other stuff, it was like different. It was inside me now. Like, before I felt it outside of me, and now I'm feeling it inside of me. And this feels a little bit different. And I only usually feel that when he comes on you, and then I started feeling it in me all the time. And I talked to them about it, and they said, man, that's the Holy Spirit's coming in you. You got the Spirit in you. That's what you got about it. I said, I don't know, but I'd like to keep this, if I can. I noticed when I said certain things or did certain things, it went away. And I was like, whoa, hey, I'll quit that, man. Easy. Psh, put that down, and you stay here? Done. What else? Well, how about you lose 60, 70 pounds? Done. What else? Well, speak this way. Don't, ever. Done. And I just started checklisting. Anything in me he wanted fixed. And I started saying different things to him. Now I'm like, okay, what? Look at me, man. Take a look at me. Radar, here you go. I'm going to turn 360 like them things they tell you don't have radiation in them, but they do at the airports. And they tell you to flip around and all that. That's what I felt like. I was presenting myself to him in that manner. And that's what I wanted him to do. You check me out, man. You even see a shadow of where I crawled out of. You get it out of there. You tell me what I need to do, because I don't want anything to do with it anymore. None of it. None of it. You make me as pure as I can. What do I got to do? What you tell me, and I will do it. I do not care what it is. My obligation to this world is over now. I can do whatever I want with the rest of the time I have. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to go. I don't have to keep going. Not anymore. But now, something strange, I want to. And now I don't think there's anything more important than this. Is to teach people how to talk to him. Teach them how to commune with him. Because he wants that, right? You say, well, I don't know, man. I don't have 10 hours. No, that's not how it works. That's what we're going to talk about. That's the beautiful part about this. We're going to record all these people. And every single one of them is going to be an example of how they did it. And one of those might help you do it too. It's the craziest thing I ever heard, dude. Craziest thing I ever heard. Yeah, well, I said the same thing. But you keep listening to these stories, and then you tell me. And then you come talk to some of the people, because the people I'm talking to you about, my friends, they're real. You can call them. You can send them an email. They'll email you back. I'm not talking about fiction. I'm talking about things I've seen, other people have seen with their eyes in front of witnesses. Not this junk you see on your screen. Oh, look at this. Everybody see this? Hey, did you see this? Everybody? Oh, for heaven's sakes. Literally, for heaven's sake, put them down. Your screens. Get your face off that stuff. When I was first learning to talk to him, that's why I'm doing it this way. In your ear. Or in your car, while you can see. And you can look around you. And feel him. And pay attention. Get outside where he lives. Put your feet in the ground. Put your hands in the water. Get in the sky, man. Get in the woods if that's your thing. In a lake if that's your thing. Whatever it is, man. Get where he makes things on a farm. Like where I grew up, kinda. That's where he's at, man. He's where his creations are, not man's. Did you hear what I said? He is where his creations are. Go there. You'll find him. I promise. I promise you that. So anyway, I started praying hours and hours a day like that. I learned how to run prayer in my back of my brain, like an extra program. So I would start with God in the morning and just keep with him all day. And I decided I wanted to do that for one full day. I'm like, I want to do that one day. I want to start out praying. I'm going to pray all day in my brain, just as long as I can. And if I'm not talking directly to someone, I'm going to pray. I'm going to try it. I'm not going to tell anybody. And I did it. It was awesome. It's one of the best days of my life. And then I waited a couple more days and I tried it again and it worked again. And that went on and on and on for, I don't know, probably 6 months, and I didn't tell anybody. Like I said, my wife kind of knew because she could see things happening, right? So, moving through, kiss everybody. It was a beautiful day. Goodbye. Going to work. Love my job. Everything's awesome. And I was telling what I was going to do, like the morning report in The Lion King, the cartoon. And the morning report, you know what I mean? Zazu or whatever his name is, dancing around. That's why I love that movie. Some people say Little Mermaid's better, and I kind of dig Little Mermaid too, but, if I'm being truthful, you know what I'm saying? If anybody's romantic, Little Mermaid, just the cutest movie in the world. That's a cute movie. Not like Wizard of Oz, like we already discovered in episode 1. So along with spiritual guidance, you will also receive excellent movie and probably music critiques along the way, okay? So as we were going, we digress. Okay, so the morning report. And I'm like, God, we're going to do this today. God, we're going to do that today. God, we're going to do this today. Da. I said, what do you think? And he said, sounds good to me. And it was broad daylight. There's no trauma in my life. There was no storm. There was no electricity. I was just talking with him. I didn't know. Remember when I said earlier, I could tell that I was being heard. I could feel it. How do you know? I just know. Would you bet your life on it? Yes. 100% go bet your life on it right now. Yes, I would, and I am. Now, I wouldn't bet anybody else's life, but I'd bet my own. It's mine to bet. And I'm betting on him. And I said, what? I almost wrecked my car. I'm driving down the road, man. Whoa. Other times, yeah, a couple sentences here and there. You're under, whatever, duress. It's a good word, duress. I was under duress. Yeah, you could say that. Oh. And I couldn't believe it. And I started to cry, and I was like, wait a minute. So I talked to you for 50 years. And now all of a sudden, and he said this to me. He said, do you know how few of you there are? And he was crying. I don't know why. I knew that. But I will promise you he was crying when he said it. And I could feel every single ounce of his pain, and it was enormous. It was all that this me human, could feel. I was maxed out on what he was feeling. He could max me out with a breath. And I felt him, and his sorrow and his sadness. And then he told me what he wanted me to do. And that's what I'm doing. And you'll be glad to know, he also tells me to quit crying sometimes, which I find refreshing. I didn't have words. For a long time, I cried for a few days after. Seriously, man. And I actually took the 528 out for a second. And this is the part where I wanted to tell you that I thought I was crazy. And I talked to a doctor friend of mine, and I told him about everything. I actually talked to 2 doctors, and they said the same thing. Nah, man, I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I wouldn't go get a scan if I were you. And one of them suggested something to me. He said, why don't you ask him if it's okay to take a break from it, the voices, like for a week or 2. And see if they go away. And come back and tell me, or just text me. I said, okay. That sounded logical to me. I'm like, I feel awesome. But, come on, man. You know what I mean? I'm a scientist, as I mentioned. So, I'm like, okay. Now I'm kind of obsessing on this thing, really obsessing on it, because it's just so exciting. I was just talking to another guy on my team, our team, his team. No, I'm going to take my out. That's something else he told me to do. He said, take me, my, and I out of my vocabulary. It's his, you understand? Everything you think you have, it's his. No, you don't. You don't get out of this place without going through them. I promise you that. He showed it to me. I've seen it. Yeah, You don't believe me? Keep listening. Wait till you get to episode 6 or 7. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Anyway. So he told me what he wanted me to do. And my first little thing he wanted me to do, I He told me to go to this particular store in town. And he told me there would be someone there. And that I would know them as they are known. And I said, okay. So I'm like, now this is really getting crazy. And then I thought, wait a minute, I was supposed to give him a break. The MD said give him a break. I'm like, well, I'll give him a break after this. This is too awesome. I gotta go see what this is about, right? I mean, how do you not? The voice touched broad daylight, right? And it didn't tell you to bring some weapons and do anything bad. It's God, man. Why are you doubting that? But I still did at this moment. I wasn't sure. I mean, I was, but you know what I mean? I was scared. So I go down to see him, and I walked in, and it was the most beautiful color of white in a person. And I had not seen that color since I was away. When I told you where I was before, in those rooms, everybody's color was like his color. And I could see it when I saw him. I knew it was him. I didn't know who he was. And I went and sat down next to him, and I asked, how you doing, sir? I'm good, he said. He had his cute little hat on, his old man hat, I call him. I didn't know him from Adam. And I sat next to him, you see, and he was like, I just couldn't take my eyes off of him. His color, it just was so pure to me. And I hadn't seen it since, and then all this other had happened, and I said, can I buy you a coffee? He goes, no, I already had my one cup. And I said, introduce myself. My name's Perry Williams. He said, Joe B. Richardson. And I said, what do you do for a living? He said, I'm a pastor at this little church up here. I said, really? I got kind of emotional, and he looked at me funny. I said, you're not going to believe what I'm going to tell you. And I told him everything I told you in episode 1. And not only did he believe it, he's lived it already. He told me my story. He told it to me. Then he told me what would happen next, and what would happen next, and what would happen next. And he was right. And I saw this shimmer in him, this glimmer, this shine on him. And that would be the first of 14 or 15 shines, glimmers that he would show me. And so far I've covered 3 or 4 states. It's crazy. And most people won't believe it. But I'm going to tell you, it's one of the most real things and the most proud. I am more proud of this than anything I've ever done in my life. And I've done a lot of really cool stuff. But this, man, this takes the cake. For sure. It's not even close. So that's how he became my pastor. And that's how I found my church home. The next thing I thought I had to do, if I'm going to get real about this, I'm going to buy a cross. You know, like a big blingy one. But nah, it didn't feel right to me. It's like, well, it's something, you know. And my wife had bought me this, I don't know, some kind of necklace. It's like a black onyx or something. You know, you see it, and it had this rawhide type cord on it that I loved. But I think the water from the hot tubs and praying and all that stuff broke it. I couldn't find one I liked. I'm real weird about skin sensitive stuff. I don't know if you're like that, but like certain soaps or something leaves a film, I can't. There's just something I don't like about, you know, certain things on your skin or whatever. So I'm real picky about this necklace. I don't usually wear necklaces, but I'm kind of trying to change. You know, I'm going a different direction. I want to do something different. I didn't feel piercing or tattoos. I don't know. It's never my thing. Put a mark on my body. I don't know why. I thought about it a few times, but I just never, I don't know. So, didn't have a cross. Thought about getting a cross. I'm like, well, you know, got it. Well, you know, so. I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, And I was going through something because the necklace had broken, and I was throwing some stuff out in my downstairs, like workshop, garage kind of thing. So I'm in there, and I was coming across, I don't know what happened. There's some chemicals for the pool or something, right? I try to run a chemical-free pool, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. So anyways, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So I flipped this thing over, and this ring fell out. It's kind of a round, I was like, what is that? Oh, it was an O-ring. It was like a gasket that was in the lid of some chemicals. And I didn't think anything about it. And I'm like, man, this thing's springy. It's rubbery. It's kind of cool. I'm like, okay, I just put it on. I wonder if I could cut it and wear that amethyst thing or whatever. It was called onyx. Onyx, that's what it was. I think. The black one, you know what I mean? Crystal thingy. And it's like, okay. I thought maybe it'll go on that and I can wear that and that'll be, kind of whatever. So I just slipped it over my head. I didn't think anything about it, kind of forgot about it and went on. I was mowing, working on the deck. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was outside and I was loving life, man, because I'm tuned in now. I'm starting to come online. I mean, I'm praying, hours and hours and 10s and 12 hours a day, staying with him all day long, staying with him all day long. And I was loving life, man. And so I had this thing on, I'm just outside, and we'll start wearing my shirt off a little bit outside, because, man, I've lost, 30, 40 pounds by now, going the right direction, right? Whew. Well, it feels good to be here. I'm glad I'm not back there. When you can say that the happiest times of your life are now, say it twice. The happiest in my time is now, right? You should be able to say that every waking second. If you're a Christian, if you can hear this, it means you're playing it on something and you got nothing to complain about. He tells me that more than he tells me anything else, especially me. Don't you ever complain about anything. He doesn't say it exactly like that, but you know what I mean? He implies. It's like he zooms me out and shows me somebody else, and then I shut my mouth. Right? You know what I mean? So I come around the corner, I got my shirt off, my black ring thing around my neck, and my wife goes, hey, I like your necklace. I said, oh yeah, it's just this, whatever I found in the basement. I thought it might work for the black onyx thing you got me. She's like, oh, I thought you just wore it like that. It's kind of like the gasket you didn't have under the deck. Oh yeah, the gasket, the O-ring. From episode 1. Huh. And I started crying. Because you see, when my thing before, it didn't work out. Because I didn't have the parts. Remember that part? And it's like, that's the part I didn't have, was him. And without him, it didn't work. Without the gasket, it didn't work. Without the O-ring, it didn't work. Without him, it doesn't work, you see? So that's a ring that I wear around my neck. It's just a 10-cent ring that comes out of O-ring from a pool supply store. And I get a bucket or two of them every few months. And if I break it, I just put another one on there. And it reminds me to keep the peace right next to my heart that I didn't have. The same peace. And P-E-A-C-E that you can have, not P-I-E-C-E. You know what I mean? You can have both pieces. So, think about that. Both pieces. And maybe that's a good place to stop. My next episode, I'm going to tell you how I got my cat. I know. It's called a cliffhanger. But before we go, a couple of more things. Just remember, always and forever, that he is real, and he is there, and he hears and sees you everything. I promise you, he does. And if you cannot hear, see, or feel him, it is a trick of this world. It is a trick of this earth. You're in the dark, you're in the smoke, or he's trying to teach you something. Because he disappears on me sometimes if I'm trying to learn something, because he knows how bad I want him back, and he'll know I will wring myself through until I figure out what he's trying to teach me. And as soon as I figure it out, he generally comes back. So if he's absent, that could be it too. And if you clean yourself up and you're pretty sure you've done that, then it can't be that. It's got to be something else. It's something. Trust me when I tell you. It can never be him. It always has to be you. It always has to be us. But let me summarize. We went from hearing a couple of words under a deck, under duress, to swimming pool or the hot tub being knighted. We got a couple sentences, again, duress and storms in both cases. To the third instance, this is wide open, full paragraph sentences like you're talking to someone on a cell phone. We went from smoke signals to fiber optics. That bright morning was beautiful after spending months and months with him, though. It took me months and months, and I don't even know how many hours to tell you. It took me. It may take you 5 seconds. Some of you may already do this. You're like, I never had to do that, dude. Good for you. It is not a contest. Let's get as many people as we can talking to them, because amen, the world's going to be a way better place if we do. Trust me on that for sure. And that's how I was led to my pastor and led to my church home and led to what I believe my mission for that is. And I mean that. He even led me to my necklace. All the way back to the O-ring. So we'll end again in a prayer, as we do sometimes. Jehovah, our God in heaven, we thank you for this beautiful, awesome day to commune with you and be with all of these people all over the place. I saw someone from the United Kingdom. I saw someone from Liberia. I saw someone from Alaska. I saw someone all over the place now. And you see them all. I know you do. And I know just as you're feeling me, as I feel you right now. Please be with all of those sick and hurt and confused. Please help them to hear your voice. It's the only one that matters. And please guide us, lead us, direct us in all that we do. We pray for all these things. In our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ's name, we do pray as our example he is. Amen.